All right, let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine one person living for 1,000 years. What would their story tell us about, well, us?
Seriously, think about it. What would you see? What would you learn about this whole human experiment, about progress? How many things that you believe are absolute truths would just fall apart? So let's create our character. He's born in the year 1000. It's a world of dirt and superstition and swords, and somehow, he's still alive today. He's seen it all. We're gonna step into his shoes and watch the last millennium unfold through his eyes. Okay, first things first, we have to really get our heads around the world he was born into. And trust me, it's so different from ours, it's practically another planet. Just try to imagine the feel of it. The Earth feels gigantic, because, the fastest you're going anywhere is on a horse. Everything moves at the speed of the sun. And the silence? I mean, real silence. There's no background hum of anything, just wind and animals and people. And these aren't just like interesting historical facts. For him, these are the fundamental laws of the universe. Sickness, that's not germs. It's God's will, maybe a curse. Knowledge, it's not something you look up. It's what's told to you, what you can remember, and what the church says is true. So what does that do to your brain? It makes life feel completely unchangeable. You just assume your great-great-great-grandchildren will live in a world that looks exactly like yours. The whole idea of progress as we know it just isn't a thing. But even in a world that feels like it's set in stone, little cracks start to appear. Tiny little changes begin to chip away at everything our witness thinks he knows. Now to us, this stuff seems kind of minor, right? Just little footnotes in a history book. But for him, oh, this is world-shaking. Suddenly, you can write things down on paper, which is way easier than parchment. New schools, universities are popping up where people can actually argue about ideas. And then you have mechanical clocks. Whoa, that's a whole different level of strange. Can you even imagine how jarring that would be? For his entire life, time was just the sun and the seasons. And now it's a thing that can be chopped up into little pieces by a machine. It's the very first clue that maybe, just maybe, humans can actually take control of the world around them. But look, those were just little tremors. What comes next isn't a crack, it's a full-blown earthquake, an event that doesn't just challenge his reality, it completely obliterates it. I don't think we can even comprehend the sheer trauma of the Black Death. I mean, just stop and think. 1 in every 3 people you know is gone. Your family, your friends, gone. The world just goes quiet, and nothing helps. Prayer doesn't work, the priests have no answers. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, you're just gone. And this is the pivot point. This is where that unshakable faith breaks. It's not that people stopped believing in God, but for the first time, there's a seed of doubt, a terrifying thought. What if we're on our own? And that desperation forces people to start looking for answers in the real world, not just the heavens. And that doubt, it unleashes something new, a new kind of thinking, an age where humanity decides it's done just taking what the world throws at it. It's time to start figuring this place out and maybe even start calling the shots. So, if the plague was this giant, terrifying question mark hanging over Europe, the printing press was, in a way, the answer. It completely changed the game for information. Think about it. Before, an idea was like a little flame you had to carefully pass from person to person. Now, you can make 1 million copies. An idea can't be extinguished anymore. It's permanent. It can spread everywhere. And that's real power. Again, put yourself in his shoes. This is straight up sorcery. Words traveling without anyone speaking them, a person's thoughts living on forever, perfectly copied, spreading faster than an army. This is the moment the modern world is born. And once you have this explosion of ideas spreading everywhere, what happens? Well, people start questioning everything. And that includes the biggest idea of all, our place in the entire universe. We look back at figures like Copernicus and Galileo and we think, heroes of science. But for our guy, this would have been devastating. It was a demotion. Everything he knew, that the Earth was the center of everything, that humanity was special, was just wrong. We're not the center of the story. We're just on a rock, floating in an endless, empty space. This is the moment his entire reality just caves in. It's not just one brick falling out of the wall. The entire foundation, built up over hundreds of years, has just turned to dust. And from this point on, the pace just goes wild. Change isn't an event anymore, it's the new normal. It's this relentless, accelerating wave that just keeps crashing over him again and again and again. Just look at how fast things break. The 1700s, suddenly there are machines doing the work of 100 men, and they never get tired. The 1800s, he sees something that feels like an actual miracle. Kids stop dying from simple fevers. It feels like we're cheating death itself. But then, the 1900s show the dark side. That same genius creates weapons that can wipe out cities. Then, holy cow, we leave the planet. We actually walk on the moon. And he finally lands here, in our time, where reality itself feels like it's being hacked. Invisible information flying through the air, machines that think. It's a world that moves faster than the human mind can even process. So, after all that, after 1,000 years of watching us go from being basically clever animals to a planetary force, what's his final verdict? What's the big takeaway? Well, his conclusions are pretty sobering. He realizes we got incredibly powerful, but not any wiser. Our power grew exponentially, but our ethics, not so much. He saw that we didn't get rid of gods, we just built new ones, systems of government and finance. And we didn't get rid of fear, we just upgraded it. But all of that, his whole 1,000-year experience, can be boiled down to one single, stunning thought. One sentence that sums up the entire human story he witnessed. He started his life as a tiny, fragile thing, completely at the mercy of a huge, powerful, natural world. He ends it as a member of the species that nature itself is now afraid of. And that leaves you wondering, where does the story go from here?